Hi guys, as you will see from the middle/end of this video, I actually got COVID during the time that I was filming this video, and I didn't realize that I forgot to film an intro until after I was already feeling too poorly to go back and make one. So this is me just letting you know there is no intro to this video. We just get started right away. This is me finishing books that I was in the middle of. There's 3 books that I talk about, and I hope you all enjoy, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye! Hi guys, so I am in my car because I'm on my lunch break and I have a shared office space, so I can't really film and don't want to film at work anyway. So the first book I'm reading for this video is Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I started this a couple of weeks ago and I think it was just a little bit slow, so I put it down because that book is longer than it seems and I just never got back to finishing it, so I thought this video would be a great opportunity to do so. So if you don't know what A Discovery of Witches is about, we follow a witch named Diana, and her family is very powerful and she's like the last bishop of her family, and she does not practice magic. She doesn't like it and she tries to avoid it in her daily life as much as possible. So she has become a scholar and published a lot of work on alchemy. That's her main study, and she is now in Oxford for a year doing like a residency there or studying for her next book and her research and everything. One day when she is working, she pulls a book from the stacks and it turns out to be this old tome that the witches and the vampires are all looking for. But since she doesn't use her magic, she sent it back. She didn't want anything to do with it, and now everyone is kind of waiting for her to recall the book and kind of just hunting her. Not like violently, but they are surrounding her when she's working and following her because everyone wants their hands on that book. So enters Matthew, a vampire, and he kind of assigns himself as her personal bodyguard, and there's romance. I don't think that's a spoiler, but so he also wants the book, but he also likes Diana. So they have their own little dynamic going on. So that's the whole synopsis pretty much. Where I am in the story, Diana and Matthew have gone back to Matthew's mother's house to keep Diana safe. So I'm still only like 40% of the way through the book. I'm gonna see how much I can read today during my lunch break. My Kindle is not charged, so I will be reading it on my phone. I have some pesto pasta to eat. I should crack a window because it's very hot in here, but without further ado, let's just get reading. Propped up on a ton of books, as you can see here, because this is just a quick update and I needed something tall and I didn't want to get out my tripod anyway. I'm just popping in here to say I have finished A Discovery of Witches. Also, don't mind how I look right now. I took a shower, I'm in my pajamas, I'm about to watch a movie. So this is really a quick update, but I just finished A Discovery of Witches today. I didn't really have any updates to give since the last clip because I actually switched over to the audiobook and listened to the whole thing today at work. This book actually took me a while to get through. I also stopped reading it. Obviously, this book is finishing books I have started but not finished. And I started this book on August 6th and it is August 30th, so it did take me quite a while. I originally started out with the physical copy and then I would switch over and read it on my Kindle, and then it kind of just got a little bit slow and sluggish, and it is a very character-driven book. Like, obviously it is fantasy, but it's very character driven. There's not really a lot at stake, or at least it feels that way. So what did I give it? I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I didn't give it 5 stars because I honestly don't know if I could reread the physical copy. I could probably re-listen to the audiobook because I definitely preferred the audiobook. So I don't know what it was with this book. Like, I love character-driven stories, but the audiobook just made it so much better. It was so much easier to picture what was going on. I felt like I was listening to a TV show rather than a book, and I just was able to get through it and enjoy it a lot more with the audiobook. And maybe that's because there are a lot of details in the book, but also some things feel like they aren't necessary, and so I kind of was like, when is this part going to be over when I was reading it? But if I'm listening to it, then it's just like, you know, information comes and goes and it's over quicker because I listened to it on like 1.75 speed. So maybe that was why I enjoyed the audiobook more. And the first book really just felt like a prequel to everything that's gonna happen. It wasn't super high stakes, and like I wasn't scared for any of the characters or really anxious for them, but it's definitely leading up to some big things that are gonna happen. And if you read the book, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying, but I'm trying to keep this spoiler free. I feel like I'll enjoy the rest of the books in the series because we are about to do some really cool stuff based on how the first one ended, and a lot of the relationships and the plot has already been laid out by the first book. So I don't think there's going to be much of that happening in the next book, but I honestly could be wrong. But that's everything I have to say for A Discovery of Witches. Solid 4 out of 5. Prefer the audiobook. Seems like a big prequel to whatever's going to come in the next books in the series, and I will probably listen to those on audio as well because I only own the first one. Moving on, the second book that I am going to be reading and finishing in this video is Dune by Frank Herbert. I read the majority of this book right before the movie came out because it was always a book that I wanted to read and a series I wanted to read, but it seemed pretty intimidating, and so I waited for the movie to be announced so I could read up to the point of the movie. So I read all the way to part 3 and then watched the movie. Love the movie, by the way. I've seen it 3 times. And so I have just the third part left. I have 155 pages left. I remember exactly where I am in the book. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm at part 3. I don't know how else to explain what's going on, but obviously from the way that I tabbed, I really loved this book so much, and I don't really know why I stopped reading it, but this is definitely a book that you need to be ready to read, and it's not just something that you can pick up again if you don't feel like it. But all that is to say, the second movie is coming out soon, and I just need to finish this, and I want to do a whole reading vlog on reading the rest of the series. I already have this down as one of my favorite books, even though I haven't finished it yet, because that's just how good it is. So if all of my raving reviews don't get you to read it, I don't know what will. But don't be scared of it. It's really good. It's not hard to understand. It's just, it takes a while to get used to the jargon, but if you get an edition with the glossary in the back, it won't be difficult. So today is Monday, Labor Day, and it's a day off from work and everything, so I am on a mission to finish Dune today. So we are still like 155 pages away from finishing, but I have my coffee. I'm going to make my room the perfect reading oasis, maybe light a candle, maybe turn on my air purifier, and then we are going to get in the zone and finish this book. happy to report I have finished Dune. This has been a long time coming. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really happy that I can say I've read Dune, and I gave it 5 stars. I knew it was going to be a 5-star read. Like, I have 2 other copies of this book that are like special editions just because I loved it so much when I was reading it. I don't want to say too much because it is part 3, so obviously anything I say is going to be a spoiler, but I will say I think I enjoyed the first part the most because you're kind of getting Paul and his life before everything that happens in this book, and then seeing how things change. And then the third part, or the second part, is like I don't want to spoil anything, but part 2 is like him trying to figure out what to do in this new place and these new responsibilities, and then part 3 is kind of just wrapping everything up and setting up the next book. Yeah, I would say I enjoyed part 1 the most, but again, 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love this book. I have the second one. Let me know if you'd like me to do like a whole Dune series reading vlog, because I do want to finish this series, but there are 6 books, so obviously it's not going to be something that I knock out very fast. And now the last book that we are reading for this video is The Mill House Murders by Yukito Ayatsuji. If you have seen me talk about the Decagon House Murders on this channel before, this is the same author in the same, I guess it's a series because there is a character in here that's in the first book, the detective, and I am on page 77. So I'm not too far into it, but I started reading this in like June. Let me tell you what it's about. So it says, ever since a horrific car accident, Fujinuma Kichi has lived a reclusive existence in the remote mill house, his scarred face hidden behind a rubber mask. Then one stormy night, the tranquility of his retreat is shattered by gruesome murder, a baffling disappearance, and the theft of a priceless painting. The brilliant Shimada Kiyoshi arrives on the scene, but as he investigates the seemingly impossible events of that evening, death strikes again and again. Can Shimada get to the truth before the killer gets to him? And can you solve the mystery of the Millhouse murders before he does? Obviously, he's there investigating a murder that had happened in the beginning of, not the beginning of the book, but like it happens at the beginning of the book at a different time period. So he comes, he wants to solve it, but things are still happening. And I really love books like that, and like movies and stuff where there has already been a death or a murder or something that has happened, but it's still happening. And so you're like, not only are you trying to catch the killer from the beginning, but they haven't stopped. Like, it adds an extra layer, it makes it way more fun. And I really loved the Decagon House Murders. Again, I gave that 5 stars, so that's why I'm really excited to finish this. Not much has happened so far. We're kind of at the point where we got backstory of like who got murdered in the first part of the book, and obviously the painting is missing. We don't know who took it, we don't know why. For a little bit of backstory that's not in the synopsis, Fujinuma Kichi's father was like a famous artist, and so after his father died, he bought back all of his dad's paintings to hold in his house, and once a year he holds like a gallery for these same 4 people to come and look at the paintings. And they were either like his father's prodigy or like his doctor, related to him and his father in some way. So at this point that I'm at in the story right now, the men are there for the once-a-year gathering to look at the art, and the unexpected visitor is Shimada Kiyoshi, the detective, and they are trying to figure out what happened. Really, really excited to keep reading this. I want to know if I'm going to be able to figure it out. Hi everyone, maybe you can hear it in my voice, but I unfortunately got COVID. This is the very first time I've ever had COVID, and I wasn't even out. I was just with my boyfriend and we didn't know that he had it, so I caught it. So that was literally yesterday was when I updated you last, and that's today. I tested positive this morning. It's now like 7 p.m. but I was just feeling so crappy all day. But my headache is finally gone. So I'm gonna take this time of me not going to work and staying home for the next few days, finish this, and get caught up on some of my other reading. But I have an ice cream sandwich. I was really craving it. I'm going to start reading. It is, I don't even know how long after my last update, probably like a day or 2. But I have finished The Mill House Murders. As you can tell by my voice, I am still sick. And so I don't really have any b-roll of me like reading because all I was doing was blowing my nose and sneezing and coughing, and no one wants to see that, so I'll just give you my thoughts on the book and we will wrap up this video. But I enjoyed this. I think I liked the Decagon House Murders more, but I still really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. I was able to predict the end and like the twist, but I'm just like for some reason good at that. Like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm like pretty on the nose with stuff like that, so it might not be predictable for some other people. And not that it was predictable, but like I don't know, there's just, that's the sixth sense I have, is like figuring out plot twists. So that's why that's what it was like for me. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It was a pretty quick read, and I honestly can't say much about it without like giving anything away. I loved the concept of it. I thought it was really fun and interesting, and it's just like a straightforward murder mystery if that's what you're into. The Decagon House Murders and this are like a really fun series to read if you're looking for a straightforward mystery. I don't really know what else to say. It's hard to talk about this book without giving anything away. So 4 stars on that one, and I finally finished it. I started it in like June and now I'm done. So yeah, let me know if you like this video, if you like this format of vlogs and like this idea and stuff like that. I have tons of books I've started that I haven't finished, so I am so down to do that for other books. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. I hope you are staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!